Good day, everyone. This is Helene from A Northern Infinite Wellness, and today I really want to speak to you about fruits. Let's just dive into it. I'm just going to have this conversation about everything I know about fruits and contrasting information out there. And yeah, enjoy this conversation. So, the first time I came across the notion to heal on eating fruits only, it was way before my time. I could not comprehend, even fathoming how we can survive on eating only fruits. I mean, our body needed protein and fats and minerals and stuff that clearly was not present in fruits. I From that moment onwards, I went into the alternative healing sector quite heavily. I learned so much about foods and supplementation and vitamins and oils and fermented food. I was heavily into fermenting different kinds of foods and drinks, and I was selling it, and I was living on game meat once every 2 to 3 weeks, relying heavily on legumes and chickpeas and beans and rice to make up for the lack in protein, completely thinking I'm gonna get disease because I'm a blood type which needs protein and meat apparently. And yeah, I was set in for this joyride of finding out how I can survive without eating as much meat as I usually used to eat. And then about 8 years later, I at that stage was already facilitating detoxes for people. We would do liver detoxes and lung detoxes and kidney flushes, and I was thinking we're detoxing. And as I went further with my studies and research online, I came across Dr. Robert Morse, and his understanding of the human body really resonated with me. All the studies I've learned at that stage, I, for instance, didn't want to do heavy metal detoxes with people at that stage because I knew I was missing something. I knew it didn't make sense to me that we stirring up all these heavy metals with herbs, but where do they go? How do you know? How can you guarantee someone it has left your body if you can't, and so I was researching, trying to figure out how this works. And Dr. Robert Morse's understanding of how the body works, it's just so astounding. It's so simple, which is really one of the huge attractions to it. It can get quite complex as you drill down into specifications. But if you look at the working of the human body, the connection between the lymphatic fluid and the elimination organs, the lymphatic fluid being the fluid that makes up to 80% of the fluid in your body. It is the fluid that deals with the waste product of 100 trillion cells. They're still deciding if we have between 50 and 100 trillion cells, but say we've got 100 trillion cells. Every time they eat, like anything else on this planet, every time you eat, you transmute for energy, there is a waste product. The difference for our cells is they can't get up and go to the toilet. They actually need something to take away this waste from them and eliminate it successfully. Because remember, if it's not eliminated, it's accumulated in your system. It is not exiting your system. So this connection between the lymphatic fluid and the elimination organs, especially the kidneys and the skin, about 20% of the lymphatic fluid drains via our bowels. The rest have to drain via our kidneys and skin. I've only met 3 humans whose kidneys was filtering when I met them. This is quite a modern man situation we're sitting with at the moment. With the high protein diets, it really has acidify ourselves so heavily inside that our kidneys literally stopped filtering, and the lymphatic fluid is becoming a sticky mass. There's 4 levels to the lymphatic fluid. The first level is when it's a flowy, see-through, plasmic kind of fluid that it's wonderful. It's watery, it can flow, it is sticky enough to pick up the waste and keep it, and it will drain successfully via the kidneys if the kidneys are in the position of successfully draining it. Then you get the second level of lymph, which is when it becomes more yellow and when it becomes sticky, like sticky snot. So this is the second level of lymph. And remember now, this lymph is around every cell in your body, right? It literally permeates your whole body. Then you get a third level, which is when you get to dried snot. When you get a hard piece of mucus that's coming from your nose or any other place. This is what third level of lymphatic congestion looks like. It's going more in the coloring of green and brown orange, and it is really becoming a dried out mass. And then the fourth level is when it goes black and it just almost doesn't exist. It's dried out to the max, it is completely dehydrated. So this is now regarding your lymph and the connection between your lymph and your elimination organs. And this is where man's problem starts. If we stop eliminating successfully, this is when our body starts harboring acids and wastes, and this starts literally burning. Acids burn. It burns the cells, and it burns the membranes of the cells. The cells literally become weaker and weaker, to the point where the acidity that surrounded the cell via the lymphatic fluid now actually permeates the cell membrane, and it enters the cell. And this is called a cancer cell, by the way. So some of the bad rap out there, let's get to that a little bit around fruits. It's like it feeds cancer cells, which is so funny because yes, it is feeding cancer cells. Cancer cells is your body cell that is so malnutritioned and so surrounded by waste that it's actually dying. It's becoming acidic. What do we do when our baby is dying? Are we burning it? Are we throwing it out? Or are we actually giving it more attention, giving it better food, keeping it even cleaner, trying to keep it even happier? This is what we do. So yes, fruits does feed all body cells, and then of course also cancer cells. But no, it doesn't exasperate your cancer. Some people would have cancer, and on a fruit diet they would go to the doctor and do certain tests, and they come back to me and their eyes are this big and they go like, my triglycerides, my infection count, everything is up in the air. The doctor want to give me antibiotics, etc. But in the meantime, remember, if you detox your body is purging whatever it's hurting it. So of course the infection that has been stuck and dehydrated and sitting somewhere in your body is now loosening up and is alkalizing and is on the move, and it's actually now on the move with your lymph system, going through your lymph nodes, eventually getting to your elimination organs. Of course the count will be higher if you now go for tests in this process. So understanding how the body detox is quite important to be able to navigate your way through the things. Because if you were not in a detox space and your inflammation count is picking up, it is a worrisome situation. You need to do something about it. Mainstream medicine would give you penicillin and cortisol and all of these things that is sort of working in on the symptom to diminish the actual inflammation from flaring up. But why is there inflammation? That is what the mainstream medicine doesn't seem to want to get to. They don't want to get to that place where they go, what is the cause of this? Shall we focus on eradicating the cause or fixing the cause instead of trying to slam on the inflammation? So this is one bad rap out there, that fruits feed cancer cells. The other bad rap is that it exasperates candida, which there is true elements to. If you eat your fruits wrong and you combine it with other kinds of food that takes longer to digest, this will render the food fermented and not digested. So when fruits are digested successfully, it leaves nutrients in its wake. It leaves fructose and minerals and nutrients in its wake that goes into the bloodstream and feeding the rest of the cells. If the fruit, however, ferments, it leaves complex sugar and alcohol in its wake. So now we all know alcohol in copious amounts are not healthy for the body, it's not healthy for the liver or the kidneys, and complex sugar is also not healthy. It's raising the insulin levels that's now needed. It needs the adrenals to really perform and supplying more steroids to deal with it. And it just brings havoc to our body, our blood sugars and all of that. So we don't want alcohol and complex sugar if we think we're eating healthy. We don't want it to render us with alcohol and complex sugar, right? And this is what happens when people combine fruits wrongly. And this increase in complex sugars then feeds the fungi, which can have your candida go out of whack then. That's one of the reasons. Sugar is one of the reasons that our candidas and our fungi flares up. So there is truth to that, but again, only when fruits are used wrongfully. Some other flack that's out there is this list that's going around of plants that kills us. So this is quite interesting, that many people that use this information now moves to being a carnivore. This is one of the explanations they say why humans are carnivores and why we shouldn't eat plants at all. What's very interesting though, if you look at these lists, there's only 2 fruits that made the list. It's a nut, amandelnut, and it is a lime, a certain specific lime. What is the amandelnut in English? I always forget the English word. Almond, an almond nut. An almond nut, the skin of the almond nut apparently has toxins in, and the moment the skin breaks, that toxins is released. And there was something about the lime, also something about the skin of the lime, that contains a certain alkaloid or something that is not good for human usage. No other fruits make their list. Then they would sometimes go over to fructose and goes like how bad fructose is for you. Fructose in its isolated form is bad. Fructose in a wholesome fruit cannot be bad, but because it's balanced out with all the minerals, the amino acids, the hydration, everything that goes with it. It's the perfect package to deliver something as highly nutritive as fructose to the body. So there's this talk that fruit has a lot of sucrose in it because this is now glucose and fructose together. Not really true. If you look at the complex sugars out there, they are stripped from everything else, and they are combined sugars in their isolated form. This is not something that you'll find in nature. Nature doesn't have isolated chemistry, guys. Nature doesn't have isolated magnesium that you're now supposed to be ingesting because you have certain things that you are, certain symptoms that you are treating with it. We can't isolate our vitamin C, making it a very acidic substance, where in an orange it goes in as an acidic fruit, but after digestion it actually leaves an alkaline ash, literally alkalizing your body, where citric acid is acidifying your body. And this is the main thing I think that people need to go figure out for themselves. What is the best place to be in? Do you want to be in a body that's more acidic than alkaline, or more alkaline than acidic? This is something you're going to have to go figure out for yourself. Go learn about acids and alkalines. See the difference between the two. Go look at a healthy biome anywhere on this planet and see, is this biome mostly alkaline or mostly acidic? You're going to get to the answers that there seem to be this balance of 80-20, maybe 75-25, being 80 alkaline, 20 acidic. That seems to be the balance on this planet. Even if you look at our periodic table, there's about 25% acid elements versus the rest being alkaline. So without looking too deep and going too hard and trying to be a rocket scientist, it really makes common sense that if this is what a healthy biome looks like, most probably our bodies will be healthy if we are in an internal biome where 80% is alkaline and the rest is acidic. So if you are consuming food that leaves an acidic ash in your body, it needed an acidic digestive process which added more hydrochloric acid to your body, and this is now building up meal after meal, day after day, you are going to sit with an acidic body. An acidic body is a body that gets hurt quickly. Many of the people that really writes up carnivorous diets speak of injuries they have all the time. You know, they would speak of how they participated here and they were building their body, and then they had an injury, and then they had an injury. Why is it okay to live with injuries? If you could have had an alkaline body, which might not look as bulky because acids are hot, it makes things grow quicker and bulkier, you know, while alkalines are cool and streamlined and strong though, but dense, but lithe, you know. So there's a slight difference between an acidic and an alkaline body. You can bulk up very heavily on an alkaline diet like the gorillas do, you know, using lots of fruits and a lot of greens to bulk up your muscle protein. So you can bulk up heavily, but you still won't look like a puffy acidic body, because a puffy acidic body is swollen as well. It's dehydrated. things inside are sticking together. If you go for a live blood analysis, your blood cells are going to stack like this, like little towers in your body. And this is not a cool way to live. This is not a good way to supply oxygen to the body. It's not a good way to service the lymphatic fluid. The lymphatic fluid will not stay a loose, watery plasma. It will not stay in the first level of lymph. It will progress to the second, third, and fourth level of lymph, which many people find to be a place where they think they are healthy because no illness are manifesting. There's no snot coming out. There's no flu and cold-like symptoms happening. Everything is just sort of stagnant and everyone feels strong. I, for instance, when I started with fruit only, was very acidic, but I wasn't ill at all. I was actually going through as quite healthy. I haven't been to the doctor for years at that stage. I haven't had any disease or illnesses manifest at that stage. I was really actually looking strong and healthy, much stronger than I've been in my life at that stage. But as I started alkalizing and detoxifying, cups of mucus started leaving my body. I wasn't really ill. I wasn't lying in bed or feeling really bad, but I had this discharge of mucus from all my cavities, top side, bottom side, everywhere. There was mucus and mucus and mucus coming out. My eyes changed from grass green to what it is now, a blue gray. So the grass green, there's no such thing as a green iris. It's actually a blue iris, and on top of it is the yellow lymph, which is second level lymph, and that gives you a green eye. So the moment my lymph started alkalizing and decongesting, it started going from yellow to white, leaving me with a gray eye. I'm still working hard to get back to my blue eyes. So if you look at the carnivore diet, for instance, how now you only eat meat, which is extremely acidic. It cannot be digested any other way but the acidic digestive process, which is where your stomach and your small intestine produce enzymes and stuff to create hydrochloric acids, and then your liver and pancreas have to produce alkalizing substances like bile and bicarb to actually alkalize this very acidic chyme before it hits the intestines. So doing this constantly, what does it do to your interstitial situation? Are you building an acidic interstitial biome, or are you building an alkaline interstitial biome? And this is what you need to ask yourself. The same with people relying heavily on herbivore kind of plants. If you look at your vegetables, your green leaves, your wheats and root vegetables, all these things, we are not herbivores. Herbivores has 2 to 5 stomachs to deal with this very harsh material that they eat. Their intestines is 30 times the length of their spine. This is a long intestines, and this food is sitting in there for a long time because it takes time to absorb the nutrients from these kind of foods. Now we're sitting with the body of a primate, the anatomy of a primate. We've got very much shorter intestines. It's about 10 times the length of 12 times the length of our spine. We're sitting with a alkaline digestive process that's instigated with the enzymes in our spit. When we chew our food, it mixes with the enzymes, the alkaline enzymes, and it goes to our stomach. If the food was simple structured food, the enzymes in the spit is enough to actually digest the food completely, and the stomach is just a holding bag for the process. When it is complex structured food, this includes all your meats, all your animal products, your dairies, all your grains, all your beans, legumes, your everything, rule of thumb, everything you have to cook to eat is a complex structured food. So the moment you eat these, now the enzymes in the spit is not enough to do the breakdown. So it has to go to the stomach and the small intestines produce what it needs to produce to create hydrochloric acids. This is created only to break down the complex structure into molecules that the body can actually use. If your kidneys are not filtering successfully, this hydrochloric acid is accumulated in your body. It's not going anywhere. It is literally accumulated in your body, especially if it's not nullified fully with the bicarb and the bile produced by the liver and the pancreas. It's such an expensive digestive process. It takes so many organs to produce energy, to actually simply break down the food, and all this energy of these organs needs to be replenished for them to be ready to do that again. We have an amazing bodysuit. It can handle all kinds of food. It has been designed to really survive all kinds of situations on this planet. It doesn't say that we should constantly eat certain foods just because our body have the ability to deal with it, you know? We need to find that space where we know our body well enough that we understand we need to have an alkaline in an inner environment to be in a healthy state, to be in a state where cells can regenerate, where there is successful waste removal happening, where there's successful digestion happening, successful absorption and successful utilization, where the chemistry in our body is in good balance and equilibrium. Because the organs and the glands producing the chemistry consists of healthy cells. So if we look at healing on a cellular level, we cannot go wrong. All the organs and glands eventually will be rendered healthy because they exist of healthy cells. And this will render all the systems in our body functioning in a healthy and functional way because the cells that makes up that system is healthy. So yeah, that is my 2 cents on fruits. I'm sure there's more to say about it. This is my conversation for today. Thank you for listening. Do have a look at our website, www.anuthan.co.za is also listed in the description below. Have a look there. We facilitate different kind of programs online. The entry-level 28-day detox really is there to introduce you to the notion. It's almost like a 28-day consultation. I am live on the Telegram group where I get to answer all your questions. I drip information every day in social media style videos and articles, and we have brilliant conversations during the 28 days. And you can really just see this as a live workshop where you have a professional detox specialist online that can really deal with your queries and your uncertainties. And you also feel it on your body for 28 days. 28 days is not enough to heal from where most of us are at. Most of us need at least 6 months to a year and a half to actually heal the conditions we've built up inside. And we can even heal our genetic weaknesses, which is so exciting. I've seen genetic weaknesses being healed. You can follow it in reading the iris. This is something you'll be introduced to as well in the 28-day detox. You are introduced to how to analyze your urine, how to understand your blood pressure readings, what to make of it, and then how to engage with herbs to support yourself through it. You know, we do not subscribe to isolated supplementation, but we do subscribe to wholesome supplementation. So herbs is the whole plant. We it's not as abrasive to our body as it would have been if we had to eat it. So we make teas, we make tinctures, we powder the herbs. This is already then processing that plant material, making it much easier for our body to deal with it. So the holistic supplementation is quite crucial. We're sitting with a situation where the soil growing our fruit trees are not optimal always. So we don't always have all the minerals that should be in the fruit if they were to be grown in a healthy soil. And then of course, unfortunately, we sit with so many of our fruits being sprayed by pesticides and that really also influence us. If we are lucky enough to have access to a great variety of organic fruits, that's definitely the way to go. But if you still have to tap into the mainstream way, we are healing on mainstream fruits as well. There's enough nature in these fruits to actually bring about the healing and the detoxing that your body needs to even get rid of the pesticides that's on the fruits. The intelligence of this body is amazing. If this body completely functions the way it was designed to function, no foreign substance would be able to bring damage to our cells, because it will enter our cells and via the lymphatic and immune system simply be recognized and expelled successfully. So we're hoping this is the same way it works on nanoparticles as well, since as modern man we now also sit with a different layer of toxification, which is on a nano layer. So we're hoping that this body vehicle is designed in such a way that even on the minute nano level, it can distinguish between what is you and what is not you, and eliminate that which is not good for you, you know. And this is what we're bargaining on, to help our bodies to reset the kidneys so that they filter successfully, to support the skin, our biggest elimination organ, to successfully filter the gases that forms inside our body. And then also definitely making sure that the bowel works well. If we focus on getting that sorted while we're alkalizing the lymphatic fluid by making sure that our diet consists of 80% plus alkaline ash forming food, which are basically your raw plants, especially your fruits. So do consider jumping in and feeling this. Fruits can't heal you guys. There's people saying that fruits gave them fatty liver. It's not fruits giving you fatty liver, it's supplementation. Isolated supplementation that gives you fatty liver. Liver can be affected by fruits if fruits are combined wrongfully with other meals. So you must remember, if you have a very complex meal, like for instance beans, it takes anything between 3 to 6 hours for your body to digest that beans. So in 3 to 6 hours, if you were eating fruits on top of that beans in your stomach, the fruits will ferment. It will render alcohol and sugar, and that alcohol will definitely damage your liver. So if you are considering still eating complex structured food, make sure you have your fruits before, a good half an hour to 40 minutes before you have your complex structured food. You don't need the complex structure, guys. This is a conversation for another day. This one is really focusing on fruits. But the complex structures contains amino acids, that's true, but we don't need protein. Our body can't use protein. Our body can break protein down into amino acids and then use the amino acids. That is true, but it's a very expensive breakdown process. The apple would not have had form if there wasn't amino acids in the apple. So there's enough amino acids in your fruits alone to build your body. Your body has been designed to synthesize its own protein. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Lovely to spend time with you. This is Helene, your detox coach. Really hoping to see some of you sign up and spend some quality time with you online, teaching you the notion of healing on only fruits and just being a witness to your healing journey. What a glorious place to be in. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.